Welcome to Cat and Jess Talk the Best, where we're going to be talking about IMDb's top 250 movies from April 12th, 2018. My name is Kat.
And I'm Jess.
And today we are talking about number 197, Rush, which is an action biography drama film from 2013. This has an 8.1 on 397,196 votes. Spoiler-free synopsis. In the mid-1970s, charismatic English playboy James Hunt and Austrian perfectionist Niki Lauda share an intense rivalry in Formula One racing. Driving vehicles that are little more than gas-filled rolling bombs, Hunt and Lauda burn up the track, all while pushing themselves to the breaking point of physical and mental endurance. Meanwhile, the women in their lives can only watch as both drivers risk death with every lap.
Alright, so it's directed, by Ron Howard. Of course, we saw him with our Christmas event with How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yep.
He directed Willow. And number 143 on our list, Beautiful Mind.
Yep.
And this stars Chris Hemsworth, Daniel Brühl, and Olivia Wilde.
Except for, I
Those
honestly
are the
think...
three listed.
Yeah, I know, but I honestly think that Alexandra Maria Lara is more in this movie than Olivia Wilde is.
Oh, I know.
So, the ratings. IMDb, 35.1% of users rated this at an 8. Metacritic, it has 75. Rotten Tomatoes, it has an 88% on 224 critical reviews. Too Fresh, Dave McGinn. An entertaining movie with two solid performances that only occasionally stalls because of its sometimes heavy-handed treatment of Hunt and Lauda's differences.
Alright.
Okay.
I can kind of see that.
Yeah. Anne Hornaday. Considering the subject matter, Rush delivers the expected visceral jolts. What's surprising is how endearing it is, even when its two protagonists are behaving like little more than boys with very fast toys. I thought that one was funny.
That's like a quote from the movie.
Well, yeah. So Too Rotten. Matthew Lucas. It's bland and unmemorable where it should be fresh and exhilarating, and despite some fine period design and nifty cinematography. Yeah, I don't know. Megan Basham. As it is, Rush merely takes the audience on a thrilling but forgettable high-speed ride.
Oh, wow. Okay, then. Someone didn't like it.
Yeah. So the consensus, a sleek, slick, well-oiled machine, Rush is a finely crafted sports drama with exhilarating race sequences and strong performances from Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Brühl.
I would agree with that. I would.
I think the performances were good.
You're not a big fan of racing, are you?
Not Formula One. Actually, not racing in general.
Oh.
But...
Oh, I don't mind a good race. They're better live.
I, just watched the wrecks.
That would be something you would go to watch.
I don't even go. I just watch them when I see them. I'm not gonna pay however much it costs to get into a race to go watch them wreck. That's a waste of money. I'm just gonna watch videos on YouTube.
Cat.
So the income, the budget was $38 million. Its opening weekend, it had a limited release in 5 theaters, made $187,289. Then its wide release was in 2,297 theaters, and it made $10,014,920. Its domestic total was $26,947,624. Its foreign total was $63,333,933. $300,000 for worldwide total of $90,247,624. Its all-time domestic rank is number 2,898. So, this won 6 awards and had 63 other nominations, 2 of which were Golden Globe nominations, which it did not win. But for the BAFTA Awards, it won Best Editing, the Boston Society of Film Critics Awards, Best Film Editing, Golden Trailer Awards, Best Drama TV Spot, for the TV commercial entitled Mark 60, the Italian National Syndicate of Film Journalists, Porsche 911 plate, the driver that was Lauda's teammate won that. I'm not even trying to pronounce that name.
I was like, she's not gonna even
No. Santa Barbara International Film Festival, Virtuoso Award, Daniel Brühl. And the Seattle Film Critics Awards, Best Supporting Actor, Daniel Brühl.
I wouldn't consider him a supporting actor.
I guess, yeah, I don't either, but since they're both equally there, I guess they don't really technically have a lead. They're both the lead. So I guess that's why they do it. I don't know. Sometimes the awards are like, seriously?
Oh, yeah.
So, initial thoughts.
I'll go. I was like, well, I knew this was about, like, Formula One racing. And I'm like, okay, I like Formula One racing. That's good stuff to watch. I watched it, and I was like, okay, it's not too bad. Not too bad. The racing parts were really, like, gripping, and they had really good music during that parts. Overall, it's not bad. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I knew it was, like, about racing, and I knew that it was kind of based off of true events. Like, the main story behind it, them being rivals, not true.
Yeah.
Like, they were actually friends. But them competing against each other, yeah, they did that all the time. So, when I found out that they were actually friends, I was like, well, that just kind of takes me away from the story a little bit. Like, this whole rivalry didn't even happen. I'm like, I don't care anymore. The only racing bits that I actually enjoyed was the very last race. Like, the rest of it, it just kind of seemed rushed. You know, they just kind of glossed over a lot of the races, I felt like.
Yeah.
And I feel like if it's a racing movie, you're not going to gloss over the races, so I was kind of disappointed in that. Because I don't mind watching racing, but I'm not going to go deliberately turn on a race. I'm going to watch some other sport. Some of the CGI was kind of not good, but some of it was actually really good.
Yeah. They did, like, some of the cinematography, especially, like, during, like, the races that we got to see. That was pretty cool.
I liked the shot when it was in their helmets, because you just see, like, their pure emotion in there. So that's cool. I never really got attached to either of them, because they're both kind of assholes.
Yeah, so, I would agree.
I mean,
with that.
Overall, it's not a bad movie. It's just not really something I was super interested in. And I guess it's really just, it's not really the racing. Like, the racing was fine, like, what bits they did show of it. And the racing is actually what interested me. It's the story that I wasn't really a big fan of.
Yeah, I didn't do much research before watching this, so I was just like, okay. Play up, like, because, you know, especially in sports, like, they always play up, like, oh, they're rivals, but, like, in real life, they're, like, buddies. So.
Yeah, sometimes when they change what actually happened to fit their agenda, I'm just like, eh. And I didn't know that they weren't friends till after it, but even then, it kind of just, I could tell that it wasn't quite what it needed to be. Like they didn't have something to go off of, really. Just felt like the rivalry part was kind of not real to me. And then I found out it really wasn't real. So
I would agree. Like, after watching it, like, I went back and looked at the pictures of them. I was like, oh, they did a really good job matching them up.
Yeah, they did a great job with all of the casting.
I was like, whoa, okay, that's pretty good casting. Yeah.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
That was your warning. If you haven't watched the film yet, then stop listening and come back after you've watched it. So we get some news reports, like you hear it, while it's like focusing kind of on the sky, and it looks like kind of stormy.
Yeah. And it mentions the August 1976.
Yeah. And it talks about Formula One drivers, which, I mean, we kind of knew that. It was going to be Formula One, because that's what it says.
Yeah.
But then we see the racetrack, and
it's all grainy.
yeah. And we kind of get the little hint that they're rivals, because they're kind of glaring at each other.
Yeah, kind
of.
of.
Each other mean faces and stuff. And the engine starts, which I always, throughout this whole entire thing, they focus on the engine like 6 or 7 times. And this is weird, like, sometimes the CGI on the engines was really, really good, but then other times, it just looked super fake. Like a video game car engine, and I'm just like, why would you make it look like that? Because sometimes it looked like they were actually focusing on a real engine, but then other times I'm just like, that does not even look real.
Yeah, I get you. I do. See the rivals, and then it jumps back to 6 years earlier.
Yeah. And we get James Hunt, which is played by Chris Hemsworth, so Thor.
It's like, we can just call him Thor.
Yeah, just call him Thor. He not really stumble, he just walks into a hospital, and the nurse is like, whoa, what's going on? And he says that him and another driver had a disagreement about the other driver's wife, because Thor was doing some things to his wife.
Because, that's just how he is. That's how,
Yeah.
That's how the person was. So, yeah.
Yeah. So we get him, and the nurse, which is Natalie Dormer, which is Marjorie, or Marjorie in Game of Thrones, or I don't quite remember her name, but she's also in Hunger Games.
Yes.
As a camera director lady.
Yes, she is. That's why I was like, I know her from a different movie. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hunger Games. Here we go.
Yeah. But they're flirting. And then they have sex. Because, it's Thor.
It's Thor, the god of thunder.
Yeah.
And it says London, 1970. So, it is 6 years earlier.
Yeah.
And you get to meet how his, James's team. Because he's still a Formula 3 driver.
Yep, Formula 3. And Natalie Dormer is there with him at this race, and she gets to see his car and all that and meets his team. And he has this tradition, I guess, of throwing up before each race. And she's kind of concerned about it, but they're like, oh, don't worry about it. He does it all the time.
It's like a nerve thing. A nervous thing he does.
Yeah.
I'm like, alright, whatever works for you, man.
You know, some people have to do it.
Yeah. You also get to see Lauda.
Yep, we see Niki for the first time. And he's new, and they're kind of all focusing on him. Kind of irritated at the fact that he's even over there.
Yep, he's new and everything, and, I mean, Lauda gave him, like, he was, right on top of, like, Hunt, like, the entire race, too. It was just first one, too.
Yeah, that's how, like, the whole movie is. They're, like, super neck and neck almost the entire movie. In every race that they do, they're just right on top of each other. Just because they're both that good.
They are.
Thor gives Lauda's car a little bump, and so it causes him to spin out, and then, so Thor wins. Lauda's mad.
Well, I'd be pretty pissed, too. I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of get a little bit of Hunt's story about, like, how his family is rich, and they're all, like, lawyers or doctors or something like that. Or they own some big company or something. They're all rich. So. And he's mad at his dad because his dad's like, you're not going to be a race car driver. That's disgracing the family. I'm just like, let him do whatever he wants. It don't matter.
That wasn't Hunt.
It was Lauda. I'm sorry. We see this thing where Hunt wins the driver of the year for Formula 3. At least I think it's Formula 3. Because it's not a very big ceremony.
No.
Not a very big party. And he gives a stupid little speech.
Yeah.
Just, whatever, I don't really care, but I'm good at this thing, so leave me alone.
I'm not gonna lie, it was hard for me to separate him from, like, his Thor character a bit. I don't know why, but it was hard for me.
Huh.
Yeah. I was like, okay, Thor's driving cars now. Alright, this works. I mean, I don't know, just, like, no offense to Chris Hemsworth, but, like, I don't know. It just seems like he was just, like, using a bunch of his stuff he uses for Thor in this. We learned that, Lauda got himself into the Formula 1 by, he took out a loan.
Yeah.
And he went to... It's like, yeah, he got into the Formula 1.
Yeah, and he got himself a team.
And he goes into, like, with his contract, he's like, okay, like, the mechanics only answer to him, like, that work on his car. And he looks at it, and he's like, oh, no, we gotta make this a much faster, way better. He's, like, telling him exactly, like, what to do and everything.
Yeah. And the mechanics are thinking he's crazy, but they do it anyways.
And it works.
Yeah, because they do that testing thing. And the other driver that he's on the team with, the other Ferrari driver that he's on the team with, he's driving his own personal car, and then Lauda's like, just have him take a spin in mine, he'll be faster. And so they're like, okay, whatever. So the other driver takes Lauda's car and drives, and he's 2.3 seconds faster. And I'm just like, how does he, because he's sitting there saying, when he's talking to his dad, that he's not smart, but he's able to tell these guys how to rebuild his car. And I'm like, I don't think you're not smart. I think you just don't want to establish, like, don't want to put the work into anything else other than racing.
It's like, I don't think the other stuff was, like, his, you know, some people are just really, like, intelligent with certain subjects.
Yeah.
And that's...
But that doesn't mean that you're not smart. Like, he's sitting there calling himself not smart. And I'm just like, you're just not smart in the stuff that they want you to be smart in. You're smart in racing, and you're smart in race cars.
Yeah.
But yeah, then he is talking to the manager guy and talking about how he gets equal pay. Like the contract, how Lauda needs to get equal pay as the other driver that they have. And he's like, you haven't even proved yourself yet. I'm like, well, I'm either taking that car with me or you're going to pay me what I want.
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, yeah, I know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
Just trust me.
Yep. And then Lauda has a date with the track manager, which she apparently used to date Hunt, who is apparently amazing in bed, as per his partner had said.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
So then Hunt gets his Formula One car and new overalls, new suit for his racing.
Does it, like, it says sex breakfast of champions?
Yeah.
That made me laugh.
And he doesn't have any sponsors.
No. No sponsors. And then we see, like, they're at, like, a race, and there's, like, practice before that, and there's an accident.
Yeah.
And it was pretty fatal. I was like, I don't think that person has a head anymore.
Yeah, I was, like, looking at it, and I was, like, looking at the car and stuff, and it kind of lingers on it for a while. And I'm just, like, looking at it, and then I, like, look to where the person should be, and you kind of see the person, but then I look up a little bit more, and I'm like, wait, there's no head on that person.
No head. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, that happens in racing, especially Formula One, because it's so fast and dangerous.
Well, there's so little protection around them.
There is, like
NASCAR,
no protection.
They have the whole cage around them. Like, still accidents happen and people die, but it's not as likely for them to die in NASCAR as it is for Formula One.
Oh, yeah. Like, the synopsis said, like, the bombs thing.
Yeah.
It's like, the gas-filled rolling bombs. It's a great description.
Yeah. You know, that's... And even the guys say it, like, they both say it throughout the entire movie about how they're always so close to death, and that's kind of the thrill of their job.
Yeah.
But also that's apparently why the women like them. And I'm like, okay.
Apparently.
It's not my choice of man, but I'd like mine to be comfortably out of the death is coming zone.
Yeah.
You know? I personally think that Formula One drivers are a little bit insane.
You have to be.
A little bit.
Just a little crazy. A little. Okay.
Hunt is saying that the race should be canceled. And Lauda is saying, no, it was the driver's fault. He went in that turn too fast and lost control.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, yeah, but you gotta feel a little bit of sympathy. Someone that you work with literally just died.
That's true.
So. See, this is why I don't feel sorry for, like, I never feel sorry for either of them. Because they're both assholes.
They are. Both of them are.
And I never really felt connected to either of them either. I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah. And then we see, it goes to Hunt is laying on the ground with a wheel, practicing in his head how the race goes.
Yep.
And this is where you meet Susie.
Yep. This is where we get Olivia Wilde. And so I was, like, sitting there, because she's talking, she's like, she has an accent in the movie. And I was, like, looking at her the entire time during this scene, and I was like, who is that? Why does she look so familiar? And I was, like, sitting there trying to figure it out. It took me this entire scene to figure it out. And then the next scene, I'm like, oh, that's who it is. And so she's talking to him about how she was told by their friend Alexander, I think his name was, that she shouldn't talk to him. Or something like that. And
yeah.
He's like sitting there explaining himself as to why he does what he does and why he acts the way he does, kind of. But then also he's saying that his team thinks that he should get married, like settle down and get married, that it'll make him better, I guess.
Yeah.
And then so he's like, are you trying to get married? And then they do.
I was like, well, that was quick.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
It is, because Lauda's driving for Ferrari, and he's testing the car, and he's like, this car's shit. They're like, it's a Ferrari. I'm like, it's a shitbox. He's like, it's awful. The weight distribution is off.
Yeah. It's like sitting there just completely tearing the car apart. So then he's with Clay, which is his partner on Ferrari, and they're headed to some party or something.
Yeah.
And Clay gets mad at him about business. They're talking business, and he gets mad at him. And he's like, well, you can't come in this party. I'm just like, what the heck? You drove him all the way out there, and you're not even gonna let him come in?
Yep.
Like, okay.
Such nice people in this movie.
So he sees this woman come outside. He's standing outside for probably 2-3 minutes, and she comes outside. Which we don't really know exactly how long, but they make it seem like he was not standing outside very long.
Yeah.
She comes out and he asks her for a ride, and she agrees to give him a ride. And so then we see they're in the car and she's singing, and I'm just like, why are you singing with someone you don't know in the car? Like, that would make me so uncomfortable.
What, the singing or the not knowing the person?
The not knowing that, like, singing with someone in the car that I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like it'd make me uncomfortable. I don't like people listening to me, though.
I know.
He's, like, telling her what's wrong with her car, and she doesn't believe him. She's like, I just had it serviced a week ago. This car's perfectly fine. And he's like, alright, whatever. And it breaks down.
Yep.
So they're on the side of the road trying to get somebody to stop. And he's trying to get somebody to stop first, but they won't stop. So she goes out, tries to get somebody to stop. And they don't stop at first, but then like 3 seconds later they do stop. And it's because they saw Niki, not because of her.
They're like, oh my god, it's Niki Lauda! And they're like so excited.
So excited about it.
It's like a famous Formula 1 racer.
And she's like, I don't believe you. She's like, why aren't you going fast? He's like, I don't have a reason to go fast right now. She's like, well, I'm asking you to. So then he goes fast.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay. That's kind of pointless.
Because she speaks German, and, you know, of course he's from Austria, so of course he does. He speaks it, and he asked her, like, do you always give what you want? She's like, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it kind of like builds their relationship a little bit right there at the beginning. But I just feel like throughout the entire movie, neither of the relationships are played out very well. Like, the entire time that Hunt is with whatever the hell her name is, Susie, it just never seems like either of them are interested in each other. Except for sex, and that's about it. But, like, conversation-wise, it never seems like they're interested in each other. And then this girl, I don't even know her name.
Marlene.
I don't remember. Marlene?
Yeah.
And then, so, Lauda and Marlene, they seem a little bit more interested in each other, but then there's times when, like, Lauda just ignores her. And just doesn't even pay attention to her. And I'm just like, this is interesting. I guess it just plays into their personalities, but I'm just like, this is just the complete opposite of romance. Like, you can put a little bit in there, but this is like absolutely none, and it's just like, you're not even gonna give them their relationships, you're just gonna gloss over it and make it look bad.
Yeah.
We got a race. And it's kind of a, this one actually is a pretty much full race, as much of a race as they can give us in a movie. Because these races last, 3 hours?
Yeah.
2 hours, something like that. Because they're long.
Yeah.
But Hunt and Lauda are racing with all the other Formula One racers, obviously. It's not just them two. And their ladies are watching. And Lauda wins this race. I don't quite remember what happens during the race, but I know he wins.
Yeah, 'cause, Hunt's car, it stalled or something.
Yeah, that's right. So that lets Lauda win. And then he, with the result of this race, he ends up winning the world championship.
Yes.
And Hunt is kind of backhanded congratulations to Lauda. Saying congratulations, but also saying if they had equal cars, equally fast cars, then Hunt would have won. And they start arguing.
Yeah. They do. And after, they're talking and everything, after Hunt lost, and so, like we said before, he didn't have any sponsors.
Yeah.
And there was a deadline to get sponsors, and they were out of money.
Yeah.
To do it by themselves, so they needed the sponsorships.
Yep, so that means Hunt doesn't even have a car.
Nope, no car. Can't race.
So he's super mad. And it seemed like his brother, based on the name, he was talking to his brother on the phone about getting something, possibly some kind of sponsorship, and because they were very vague about that whole conversation.
Yeah.
On the phone, so it seemed like maybe they were talking about sponsorships, but you couldn't really tell.
Not really.
But Susie's trying. He gets off the phone, and Susie comes and tries to cheer him up, and is like, "Hey, let's go skiing." And I'm just like, that's just a distraction.
It's kind of a random one.
Yeah.
It's let's go. Okay.
Yeah, she's super excited about it, trying to get him distracted, and he's like, do you even know me at all? Why would I want to go skiing right now when I don't even have a car?
Yeah.
And so they get mad at each other. And they're fighting and stuff.
Yeah, and she just, leaves.
Yep, she goes skiing.
Skiing. Air quotes.
She goes to a ski lodge.
That's about it.
I don't know if she ever goes out of the lodge. As we find out later. But then Hunt gets a call from his brother, again, about a possible meeting with McLaren. And possibly getting them to give him a car and sign him. So where Hunt will race for McLaren. So he goes over there and tries to convince them to sign him, and they're like, well, we have these other options, and he's like, I'm better than all those other options. And I'm just like, you're a little bit cocky, aren't you, dude?
Completely. Completely. But, they talked to somebody else, asking, who should they go with?
Yeah, one of, the former members of Hunt's team, because he looked familiar.
Yeah. And he's like, you gotta go with Hunt. And he's a big pain in the ass, but he's good.
Yeah. So they convinced him. So they go with Hunt. So Hunt gets to drive a McLaren, which he's super excited about because it's an equal car to a Ferrari.
Yeah. And then we start getting, to the different races.
Yeah, we get the kind of gloss over the whole season of races.
Yeah, so it does, Brazil.
And then that one, Lauda wins because Hunt has engine failure.
Yes.
And then,
South
Africa. Hunt gets second.
Yeah, Lauda wins that one.
Uh-huh.
And then Spain. This is, bigger one.
Yeah, it's a little bit longer of a race.
Hunt wins, but Lauda's like, you should go check his car.
Yeah.
And
so they go and check it and do, like, measurements and stuff, and it gets disqualified.
Because it's too wide. It's,
Yeah.
like, not even an inch too wide.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know that wouldn't have freaking mattered.
Yeah. He's like, the width of the car has nothing to do with the speed of the car, is what he says.
Yeah.
So Hunt's team is, like, fixing up the car, trying to make it smaller. Hunt is super pissed off. And then they start having issues with the car. Like, it continually messes up. Like, the engine catches on fire, or it stalls out.
A tire pops off.
Yeah, and you see, like, 3 or 4 races, and it's constantly Hunt's car is messing up. So then we end up seeing Lauda is 50 points ahead.
Yeah.
Which I don't know quite what the scoring system is, but that's quite a few races. Like, he's pretty far behind, and it's, like, the middle of the racing season.
I think it's, like, you get so many points for, like, placing.
Yeah, I think it's first, second, third get quite a few points, and then after that, I think... Because I used to play a NASCAR game, and it did have some Formula 1 cars in it, where you could race with Formula 1 cars on those tracks. So I think, if I remember correctly, don't quote me, I'm probably wrong, but I think it's first through 10th get points.
Huh.
But it's like first, second, and third get the most points.
That makes
but
sense.
I don't quite remember, because I used to just turn the practice track on and then go backwards and wreck everybody.
Why does this not surprise me? It really doesn't.
I mean, occasionally I would do the actual racing, but most of the time I just go backwards.
Cause all the wrecks.
Yeah. So they're signing autographs and stuff. And of course getting snippy with each other.
Oh, yeah.
They just are snippy with each other throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Until the big, like, climax event.
Yeah. And then we learn that, because, you know, Susie's just been, like...
Gone.
And she went skiing, right? Yeah, that was a big fat lie.
Yeah, she ended up with some other dude.
Richard Burton, who is a famous actor, actually, in that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just couldn't remember his name.
I remember that. I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah. Because he was with Elizabeth Taylor. Yeah.
But Hunt is trying to get her back, and she says no, because she's got this other dude, and she doesn't ever have to worry about him not acting like he loves her. Like, Hunt never really acted like he loved her. She had to question whether or not he loved her or not. Whereas he says with this other dude, she doesn't have to question it.
And she's like, oh yeah, you know, all the... Like, she even, like, called him out on all the shit. Like, even, like, he cheated on her so many times. It was like, come on.
And then there's press. There's always paparazzi and press talking to the guys. And then Hunt's on a plane and he's mad. So he has sex with the flight attendant.
Yep. In the bathroom.
He's like glaring at himself while he's having sex. And I'm just like, that's really weird.
Just staring. I'm like, I guess if that works for you.
Yeah. And then we get a few more races.
We get France.
Great Britain.
Yeah. And Hunt's been winning those because his car's finally fixed.
Yeah. And then we also see that the Spain disqualification decision was overturned.
Yes. So he gets those points back.
Yeah. And Lauda doesn't think Hunt will be able to catch up in points. He thinks he's too far behind.
Yeah, that's true. And then there's the part where they, Marlene and Niki go to the courthouse.
Yep, they go to the courthouse and get married.
They have like kind of like a little honeymoon.
Yeah, it's like a miniature honeymoon. See, they established their relationship better, but then also, I don't think they showed it quite well. I don't really know what their relationship was like, but I felt like he was just as much of an asshole to her as he was to everyone.
Yeah. I would agree with you to an extent. Now we get to the big thing here coming, like Germany, right where we started the movie.
Yeah. And it's, the German practice, so they're doing their practice laps and everything, and there's a bad accident during the practice, and it kind of shows you it while the people are going around.
And, like, that accident they showed, like, the dude had a freaking compound fracture.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, huh, nice effect there.
Yeah, I did see that.
I was like...
It was, that was some good practical effects.
Yes.
Some good makeup there.
I would agree. And, like, this is, like, it's such a dangerous track.
Yeah, they said this is the most dangerous track.
And it's raining and everything, and so Niki calls, like, a meeting of all the racers and everything. He's like, we should cancel this.
Yeah.
It is too dangerous. I'm like, he makes sense.
It does make sense. I would agree with Lauda in canceling the race. But what we don't know at the time, Hunt tells Niki later, Hunt had already talked to pretty much everyone and said that Lauda's going to try and get you to vote to cancel the race. Don't do it. So it's basically Hunt's fault. He goes, I don't know what word he used, but he's like, I swung the vote.
Yeah. He's like, this is what happens when people like you.
Yeah.
Like, you're a dick.
He tells him that way later, like, we don't know that immediately.
Yeah.
But we do find that out. And so, the race, a little, like, right before the race, there's this man who comes up to Lauda and asks him for his autograph with the date. And he's like, why? And the guy's like, just in case it's your last race.
That's not dark at all.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's not foreshadowing at all.
Ha. Totally.
But so the race is getting started. Hunt has the pole position, which is he qualified with the fastest time, so he gets to go first. Well, not really go first, but be in the first position. I do know that. I do know what that means.
That's good.
See, I know a little bit.
See, and it's raining, and there's only one person who's like, you know what, I'm going to put on, like, tires that are actually going to work well in the rain.
Well, everybody, I think they said they all have their slick tires on, but the rain was stopping. It was just the track was super wet. So that other guy, he's like, well, I'm going to put my dry tires on, and everybody else is, like, keeping their slick tires on. And Hunt and Lauda kept their slick tires on because the other one did. They're like, if he's going with the slicks, I'm going with the slicks. That's what they were saying.
Yeah, it was something like that. I forget which one.
And
yeah.
So that one car is passing everyone. So then they all go to change their tires.
Yep.
And Lauda's guys take too long.
Yeah. I mean, Hunt gets, like, his done stuff, like, right away and just goes.
Yeah. And so then Lauda gets to go. He finally gets his tires changed. And you can automatically tell as soon as, like, while he's still in the pit, you can tell something's going to happen. If you didn't already get that hint from the autograph dude, something's happening to Lauda in this race. Like, you've gotten all the hints. Lauda wanting to cancel the race. Lauda's mad about the autograph guy, and then Lauda's tires taking too long to change. Like, you get all the hints. And then, so he's driving pretty recklessly on this terrible track in terrible weather. And he wrecks. Because his, wheel, like, falls off or something like that.
It's an engine thing.
Oh, okay.
It was an engine. Because he was driving so fast. It says it a little bit later that it's something to do with, like, he punctured something with the engine.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So his car's on fire. And he's got cars behind him, obviously. But this one car is able to avoid him. And then another car straight up hits him. And there's a bunch of people, like 3 or 4 of the other racers that stopped and are trying to get him out. And this car's on fire while he's in there. So he's just, like, burning alive.
Oh, yeah. Covered in burns.
Yeah. His wife is crying. She sees the wreck. She's watching on TV. And she's, like, super upset.
I thought she was listening to it.
I don't know if she was listening or watching it, but she knows that he's not doing very well.
Because I think she was listening in the car. She heard everything. And then she pulled over to make a call.
I don't know.
That's all I remember.
So he's being transported to the hospital. And you kind of get some flashbacks and hospital scenes. So it goes back and forth between, like, racing stuff and the hospital.
Yeah, he's like all, like, he's complete, like, it's burns all over.
Yeah.
And I was like, nice effects there.
Yeah. They did a good job with his makeup throughout this.
Yes, but all of his burns and everything, I mean, because there's certain things you do to get that effect. And it looked really, like, it looked like it was just part of him.
Yeah.
I was like, nice job.
Yeah, they did a good job with his burns. And they also did a good job with giving him that look that Lauda, like the actual guy, has, because he's got some, like, uneven teeth up in the front. Like, his front teeth are really uneven.
He's got an overbite to him.
Yeah, and they did a good job making it look like that Daniel Brühl guy actually had that too.
Yeah, he had to wear fake teeth for it.
Yeah. So that all the makeup that they did for this movie was good.
Yes.
I liked the makeup for this.
Agreed.
So that's one thing. That's one thing I liked.
So it was like during like this entire thing, like he's like out of it still. I noticed this. This kind of made me giggle a little bit because the cat looked at me. I was like, there's a priest giving them like you know, like they don't call it last rites anymore. They call it the anointing of the sick. But it still made me giggle. I was like, okay, I kind of get it. You know, he's like really burned up. You don't know if he's gonna make it or not.
And the doctors came out and told his wife that his condition was worse than they had originally feared because he's got fluid in his lungs from the burns.
Yeah, that's not pretty at all. And it tells that, it does like certain days too, like 14 days in the hospital. He's getting his bandages changed and he's watching the races. And
it's so painful.
Oh my God.
See those bandages removed. So this Daniel dude, he did a really, really good job of acting like he was in pain, even though obviously the actor's not in pain. But he did a really good job of portraying it, but not overselling it.
Yes.
And, like, just making it ridiculous. So he did a really good job, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Then there's the 28 days later where he's getting his lungs vacuumed out.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh my God, that is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. Because he's making these gargling sounds. And I'm just like, what the heck?
They literally stuck a long tube down his throat and just sucked.
But we see all the races and stuff, and Hunt is gaining on Lauda in points.
And he's like, I need to get better.
Yeah.
And
we see one point, he's like trying to put his helmet on. And I'm just like, you've got to be kidding. You were trying to put that on when you were not fully healed. And I guess he's just so determined. I mean, I understand you're that determined to get back and be the best you can be. But you've also got to take care of yourself.
That's very true. I was like, man, that is determined.
Yeah, that's some dedication right there.
And then it goes to September, and he's back.
Yep. And this is where Hunt admits that he swayed the vote before the race. He goes and talks to Niki, and he says that he's sorry because since he's the one that swayed the vote, he feels like it's his fault that Niki got in that accident. And Niki's like, well, yeah, it was, but you were equally responsible for me coming back because you motivated me to come back because you were winning, and I didn't want you to beat me.
Yeah, and he has a press conference, and he's saying, they're like, well, what happened? You know, like, how'd you get all fixed up in a way? Not really, but he's like, I got skin grafts and all of that, and yeah.
Yeah, tell him, like, all the procedures that happened. And then there's one reporter that asks him about his wife. Like, do you think your wife's going to stay with you now that you look like that? And he gets super pissed off about it, which I would too. I'd be like, that's one of the rudest questions in the world.
Yeah, and of course Hunt's watching this entire press conference too, and he hears the dude say that. And he's like, hey, he like tracks the guy down. He's like, hey, I got an answer for you for him. And he like totally beats the shit out of him. I was like, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And see, this is the more believable part. Like, this is what made me, like, when I found out that they were actually friends, I'm like, yeah, because that beaten up part, which I don't know if that part's actually true, if he actually wouldn't beat up that reporter or not, but that seemed to me more likely what their relationship really was, is like more friendly and protective of each other, even though when they were racing they were rivals. Because I can understand being rivals in your sport, but still being really good friends. And so I can understand that. That's why I didn't really like the storyline of them being rivals. Like, once it started to get to that point where they were more friendly with each other, I was liking it more then. But that's just my own thought about it.
I agree with you. I do. This is like his first race back.
Yep. It's 42 days after his accident.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And, like, it shows him, like, his vision as he's trying to start the race. It's not very clear.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
At first I thought it was just something was messed up on my TV, so I, like, paused it and went back a sec, and then I was like, oh, wait, no, it's just this. That's just the camera. Like, that they actually did that on purpose. I thought it was maybe my version that I had. Like, why does it look so messed up?
It's supposed to show that he's not completely healed yet.
Yeah.
And he starts out, like, the race, like, slow, and everyone's, like, passing him and everything. And they're like, uh-oh, what's going on here?
Yeah. And there's, his vision kind of clears up a little bit. I guess it kind of shows, maybe it's symbolic of him focusing and getting that mentality of a racer back. I don't really know. But they kind of focus the camera, and so his vision kind of clears up a little bit. And then we see that Hunt has wrecked. He's on the side, and he sees Lauda pass him. And it kind of isn't really a defeated standing there. It's kind of a, yeah, that happened, but I'm glad he's back kind of standing there.
Yeah, that's what it thought to me, too. I was like, he's like, I think he might have did this on purpose.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too. I'm like, that seems more like a friendship than a rivalry to me.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because the one thing I do know is everything that happened in the races, like all the racing stuff, that was true. It's just all the outside the racing stuff.
Yeah.
About their rivalry, that's what's not true.
Yeah.
So then him standing there on the side watching as Lauda passes and finishes fourth, and that kind of, it's not even, you don't even get to see his face, you just see him standing there, and it's just the profile and how he's holding his body, and it just seems like he's proud that his friend is back, and he's happy about it. I don't know, it's just me.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me, too.
So Lauda finishes fourth, and the fans all storm the track. They're like, everybody literally just comes on and just goes over there and starts celebrating with Lauda because he's back. Then we get the final race.
That's the whole movie.
Yes.
This is in Japan. At Mount Fuji?
Yeah, I think it's under Mount Fuji, right near it.
think so.
And the weather's bad.
Of course.
Because, you know, they gotta make it, dramatic.
It's, like, really heavy rain, too. I'm like, oh,
well, I mean, it actually, for that race, it actually did rain, but still.
Super heavy rain and everything, and Niki's only 3 points ahead.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So they're doing the press conference, and you see everybody's nerves kind of hitting them a little bit. Like, you see Hunt is fidgeting with his lighter. Lauda's just kind of halfway answering the questions. They're all just kind of really nervous for this race because of the rain and because it's almost as dangerous as that German track, especially with the rain. And they're determining whether the race is going to be canceled or not, but they get the go-ahead. The race is going to go. Which, of course, because this is the final race of the movie.
And this is also will determine the championship, too.
Yeah. Because if the race doesn't happen, then Lauda wins. If the race does happen, then depends on who gets ahead.
Yeah. And they're, like, in their cars and everything, and they lift up, was it, like, the visor, like, and they start drilling, like, holes. He's like, and Hunt's like, why are you doing this? He's like,
you're gonna let the water in.
They're like, it's for the condensation, so you can see. He's like, but rain too. Okay.
Yeah. He's like, well, as long as you're first, it don't matter.
Yeah.
And then we kind of get a moment between the two of them.
Yeah.
They, like, look at each other, and it's kind of a good luck, I'll see you on the other side type look.
Yeah, like a nice little salute to each other.
Yeah. Like, we're still going to be friends, even if you win, we'll still be friends. Good luck, type thing. So the race starts, and normally, slow motion doesn't bother me, but for this one kind of, I don't know, maybe it was my copy, or maybe it's just the way it was filmed, just seemed a little choppy in places with this slow motion bit. So I wasn't a big fan of it, but I don't know.
Oh, I liked it.
I didn't really like it.
I did. I was like, huh, nice. But that was me. I liked it. And it was just like, it just helped, like, get the race going in a cool way in my head. I don't know how to explain it.
I don't know, it just seemed a little bit choppy to me.
I did like the music here, though.
What? Oh, yeah, the music was good. It reminded me a lot of the Reigns of Castamere. There was just, like, 2 chords in it that it repeated a few times. And it just reminded me of the beginning of the Reigns of Castamere. And I was like, wait, it's going to play that. And I was like, oh, wait, no, it's not. I'm just kidding.
Nope, sorry, Kat.
I got excited. I like that song. Niki sees his wife over in the pit. I don't know if he actually sees her, but they make it look like he sees her. I don't know. Because we get a glimpse of her over there in the pit area. And then Niki decides that it's too dangerous for him.
Yeah, so he literally just, like, pulls out of the race.
Yeah. He just stops.
I mean, like, not in the middle of the damn racetrack or everything. No, he goes into the pit and gets out of the car and everything. He's like, I'm done.
Yeah. And at this point, he doesn't go over to her and, like, hug her and comfort her and have her comfort him. He just, like, nods at her and walks past. And I'm just like, what? Really? I don't know, maybe that's just the way his personality is during racing, but I'm just like, that seems a little bit odd to me, because you just gave up on the possibility of being world champion again because you didn't want to die because of your wife. So I don't know. That was another point that I was just like, eh.
It's like, well, you thought it was a little cold, I'm guessing.
Both of them, I thought they were both a little cold to each other. Just like, you guys aren't gonna go to each other? You're just gonna walk away separately?
You're like, okay, there's love there.
Yeah. I'm like, alright. We do see Susie watching. I don't know if she's there or if she's watching a TV. I think she was watching a TV.
Yeah, just in TV.
Hunt's tires are, like, getting super worn out.
Just, like, no tread on them.
Yeah. And so he goes and gets them changed out and everything, and he's starting to fall behind a little bit. He ends up, in, like, 7th after his pit stop or something like that. And so he has to catch back up because he needs to at least get 3rd.
Yes.
So his crew's telling him to be careful, and he's like, no, I'm going to do what I want. And so he goes and drives real crazy. And the race ends, and there's some kind of confusion. They don't know if he was in 5th or if he was in 3rd. And I'm just like, how do you not know how many cars passed the finish line before him? Don't they have numbers on them? 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. I didn't understand how they confused that. I just don't know. But then they determined that he was in 3rd, not 5th. So he did win.
By 1 point.
Yep, so he got champion of the world.
And he's like, and Lauda's like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. He's like, yeah. Because his wife asks him if he's okay that he lost. And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. And Hunt is celebrating, of course. I guess it's like a few weeks later. A few days later. Something like that.
Yeah.
But he's celebrating everything, and he's going to get on this plane. He has to go enjoy himself. Have fun with a bunch of women. And he sees Niki over there at his own personal plane. And they're talking to each other, and Niki's like, I'm just getting ready to start the new season, like I'm getting prepared and everything. When are you coming back? And Hunt's like, I'm not. I got what I wanted. I'm done. Lauda says that he needs Hunt because he's his competition. He's like his motivation to do well because he's the only one as good as him.
Yeah.
Basically.
And then there's a little epilogue.
Yeah, which you actually get the voice of Niki Lauda talking about him and Hunt's relationship and how Hunt is the only one that he ever, like the only person he ever envied. And we also find out that Hunt ended up in broadcasting and that he died at 45 of a heart attack?
Yes.
I think it was.
Yes, that's it.
And that's about it. But I thought it was really cool that they did that.
Yeah, I like that.
Bit with Niki Lauda.
Yeah, I did like that.
Because it was like his way of being able to honor his friend. Because he died too young, as Niki says. Which he did, he was 45. I guess it was just too much adrenaline from the racing. Just got to him eventually.
Probably, or, the whoring around, I don't know.
Yeah, that too.
That might have contributed a little bit,
the drugs, the adrenaline, the sex, just all of it.
The debauchery.
But yeah. So, the music for this is by Hans Zimmer, who we just had for 12 Years a Slave. And so, if you want any information on him, it's all in 12 Years a Slave. We just did that. I'm not going to repeat it again. I will repeat again that he is one of my favorites. I really loved the music in this. I felt like it was intense when it needed to be. It built up really well, and it played along with everything that was going on. I liked the music a lot.
I'm like, man, this is really good music. Then I'm like, oh, wait, it's Hans Zimmer. Never mind.
Yeah. We'll be getting Hans Zimmer again. We've got a few movies with him as the composer.
He's like John Williams. They just do, amazing music.
They do. So, the comparison for this, this was true for the most part. Like, all the racing stuff was true. Just the only thing that wasn't true was their rivalry. It's just they were friends from pretty much the beginning. They enjoyed each other's company. They had a lot of fun together. And I will include in the show notes a link to History versus Hollywood that kind of compares the movie to real life events. I do know that when the wreck happened, Niki's big wreck, that they studied the actual footage of his wreck and copied it almost exactly. Because if you look at the actual footage of his wreck and then you look at the wreck in the movie, it's almost exactly the same. They did a really good job on that.
And I like how he says he doesn't remember it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I can see why you wouldn't remember it.
Yeah.
I was like, even like, my accident was not nearly as bad, but I did, like, no, I rolled my Jeep, and I remember, like, about most 75% of it, but you block it out.
Yeah.
You mentally have to block it out, or else it will keep haunting you. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's probably part of what happened to him.
Yeah, probably.
It's gotta block it out.
So, do you have any trivia for this one?
I have a few. It's sad to say, but Niki Lauda did die this year.
Oh, really?
He died in May, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was in his 70s. You only saw his first wife in the movie. He was married twice.
Huh.
Yeah.
No wonder they were so cold to each other.
They were married for, I think, like, not even 15 years.
Okay.
And then his other one was from 2008 till he died. So that was like 11 years. So
yeah,
it was like he had that. That race, the one that he had his accident in, that was the last time they used that racetrack.
Huh.
The one in Germany, because they're like, no, it's just too dangerous. Just way, way too dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also the, just for liability reasons, they were actually Formula One drivers in the movie.
Yeah, I do know that. I was watching a couple little things, some of the special features. They did have some precision drivers to do some of the driving, like when the cars are super close, that's precision driving. They actually did some of that stuff.
Yeah, and Niki was involved with the movie for sure. Like,
yeah,
like even Daniel and him, like, because Daniel wanted to get as close as possible to like a person he's portraying on screen. So of course he hung out with him for a long time. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I was like, that's
and
a
he
sign
also,
of a good actor.
I did see that he gave his blessing for the movie. He really liked the movie, thought it was done well. Which, I mean, that's good if you get somebody saying, hey, this movie of my life is really good.
Yeah. I mean, that's about it, really. I mean, like, a lot of it you can find. Oh, there's one more thing. So, you know how it's at the end of the movie, you're like, oh, wait, he flies planes? Okay. He actually had, like, an airline.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he had his own little airline with, like, 40 planes.
Dang.
Yeah. And he piloted on most of them, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, huh. So, you're just really mechanical.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's about all I got for trivia there.
Okay. So, where it has been on the list before, and as of today, 2010 and 12, obviously it was not out yet. 2014, it was not on the list. 2016, it was number 184. 2018, it was number 202. And as of today, it is number 208. So it is dropping a little bit. But it's not really going into a big decline anymore. It did have a pretty big one, about 20. But now it's just kind of slowly going.
Yeah.
Previously, number 197, 2010, The 400 Blows from 1959, which we watched previously.
Boo.
2012, The Hustler from 1961. 2014, Nazca of the Valley of the Wind from 1984, which we watched previously.
Yep.
2016, Mad Max Fury Road from 2015, which we watched previously.
Yep.
2018, Ben-Hur from 1959, which is coming up in a couple weeks. And as of today when we are recording, 12 Years a Slave from 2013, which came out previously. We already watched that one.
So it's going up a little.
Yep, it is going up a little bit.
Nice. I approve.
Yeah, I like that one, so I'm good with that one going up. So, favorite line. I have a couple.
Yeah, I have a few.
Men love women. Even more than that, men love cars.
I wrote that one down too. Because I'm like, it's so true.
Yeah.
Like, so true. I live with that. I know.
Another one, talking about the cars. Just a little coffin, really. Are you ever not an asshole? I like that one a lot.
Yep.
And then the very last one was from Niki Lauda himself, like the actual dude. He remains the only person I ever envied. That's all I got.
Well, you stole, like, most of mine.
Sorry.
It's okay. Let's see. This one made me giggle. Because it's the doctor telling Marlene that Lauda said, "Tell the priest to fuck off, I'm still alive."
Yeah.
That made me laugh. I was like, yes. I'm like, yep, he's fine. Telling the priest to go F off. Yeah. Again, you took mine. Body
Sorry.
like a temple, mind like a monk.
Oh, yeah, I did like that one too.
So what do you think?
I don't know.
'Cause me, I like the either are you never not an asshole or the men love women thing, but
Oh, I had one more. I just saw it. Sorry.
okay, go ahead.
No regrets, not one. That was another one. But I think either the Are You Not an... I think actually the Are You Not an Asshole, because we discussed them being assholes almost the entire time.
Are you
So
never
weird.
not an asshole?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
Alright, so what is your rating?
I would give this... I'm giving it like a low 7, like almost going to like a 6, but it's like a 7 for me.
Okay.
I really liked Daniel's portrayal of Lauda.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that was awesome. Love the racing when we did some racing. But not a big fan of like how they played up the front, like the enemy thing. But
Yeah.
I wrote them, I was like, they're like frenemies. That's what they really are.
Yeah, they end up being friends at the end, and like in the middle they're kind of that frenemy part, but at the beginning it's just straight they hate each other, and I'm just like, no.
It's like, ha, fuck you.
Yeah.
That's what it was at the beginning. He flipped him off.
Yeah. I am giving it a 6, just because I didn't really buy into the story so much. The racing part for the actual big races that they did, the one with the wreck and then the one in Japan, the few big races we actually did see, I liked a lot, but when they were like glossing over the races, I was kind of bored. And it just kind of felt a little bit long.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because I felt like they spent too much time on their rivalry that it wasn't really existent, rather than focusing on their racing. I'm like, this is a racing movie. Show a little bit more racing, please. But that's just me.
Yeah, I would agree. I felt it was a little long, too. I kept checking the time.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god. So it's not a bad movie. It just didn't quite catch my interest as much as I thought it was going to.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Alright, so our next film is Jurassic Park from 1993, which I'm super freaking excited about.
It's like, we'll try to keep that one shorter, but no promises.
Yeah, I'll try.
She will try, but I just might just let her go.
I like dinosaurs.
I know.
So our next event is our Halloween event, which will be coming out on October 31st, obviously. The 2 movies that I picked for that are Beetlejuice and Hereditary.
And I picked Young Frankenstein and The Nightmare on Elm Street. And I'm super excited because next week I get to see Freddy. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Freddy. Yeah.
So look forward to that one at the end of October. That'll be fun. Give you some ideas on maybe some new movies to watch for Halloween. So we are offering premium if you would like to get uncut episodes, early release episodes, and a special monthly episode every month. You can get all of that for just $1, and then for $5 you will be able to join us for a movie of your choice every 50 movies, plus all of the other bonuses, the early release, uncut, and special monthly episode. Our next special monthly episode will be The Sandlot, and that will be out at the end of this month, because we're going to try and keep with that baseball season theme. Get it out before the end of baseball season. So if you could leave us any ratings or reviews, let us know how we're doing. It would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you could share the show with your friends, that would be greatly appreciated. If you have any comments or concerns, feel free to message us or email us.
We're not mean.
Our opening music, actually all of our music, is by Audio Binger. You can find him on Facebook, YouTube, and his website, audiobinger.net. Thank you all for listening. It is greatly appreciated. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.